Mike Schulbaum. Welcome to Happy Painting, episode 4. Today we're going to be talking about how to build a painting, how to make a painting. There's so many ways to make a painting, and that's a major thing that I love as an artist, is there's so many ways that you can create a painting. There's so many different techniques that you can use. There's alla prima, which is doing all at once. There's using an underpainting or a grisaille. There is direct painting. There's indirect painting. There's abstract expressionism. There's cubism. There's pointillism. There's impressionism. There's Renaissance sculpting of the form. There's deconstructive. There's pop art. There's surrealism. There's drip painting. There's abstract.
Non-representational. There's using a palette knife. There's using brushes. There's using your fingers. There's using your. You can put brushes in your teeth. You can use rocks. You can use dirt. You can use hay. You can do
There's so many different ways to make a painting. It's really cool. So today I'm just going to show you one painting. This painting back here. I'm going to show you how I did this painting. And this is a painting of my spiritual teacher, Sant Rajinder Singh, Ji Maharaj, and it's the first painting that I've done once his beard came in gray, white. And so I'm going to show you like a slideshow of how it came to be from when I started it to what it is right now. I hope you enjoy it. But before we do, it is very expensive to keep this show going. I mean, the overhead is amazing. So let's take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back after these messages.
Yeah, we're on the far side of the planet. I can't even tell what this thing is. It's a dwelling of some sort. The architecture is neo-constructive. It's crazy. The radiography is all over the place here. Our instruments are jumping off. The dials are going crazy.
Everybody thought that colonizing Mars with Elon Musk was a great idea. That is until you find out who's already there. Antonio Banderas stars in his most critically acclaimed role ever. There's no way to abort this mission when you meet him as Satan's nephew. This trip to Mars could be our first and your last.
So when I think of making a painting, I really think of it like raising a child. You start out, you begin, and you want to put all the best things into this painting. You want to put all your best intentions and all of your best hopes and dreams into this painting to make it something beautiful. And as it's going, it goes through some rough, rocky patches. It goes through some parts where it does not look like it's going to turn out to be a wonderful painting. And I know my mom had those times in her life when she did not think that I was going to turn out to be a wonderful painting. But she likes me now, you know. Everything's worked out. And that's how it is with painting. As you go through it, you're going to, some people fight with it, some people dance with it, some people scratch it all out and start over. Some people, whatever you do, there's a journey from the beginning to the end of a painting. And it doesn't look beautiful the whole time. In fact, I don't think it looks beautiful until, in fact, it might even look beautiful all the times through, depending on what eyes you're looking through. I think all stages of a painting are beautiful, but the end, where a painting is finished, where my painting is finished, it tells me I'm done. And that's when you have to let your child go out into the world and whatever happens to them happens to them. Sometimes your child goes out and they have a wonderful career as a whatever, and sometimes they go to college and they go to a kegger and they blow chunks all over the place and get arrested. Who knows? Lots of things can happen to your painting, but you got to let it go at some point. At least I think that's what an artist does, is they let their work go into the world in whatever way. And so right now I'd like to show you how this painting started, the middle ugly parts, and how it finished, where I think it's ready to go out into the world in whatever way it does. So I'm starting this painting out on a white canvas, which is rare for me, and I'm doing a black and white underpainting for the figure, and I'm doing a monochromatic blue underpainting for the background. And as you can see, I'm using a basic grid technique to keep the proportions of this subject in order. Grid is a good way to keep those proportions in order. So here I'm just painting some of those mid-value shapes in the face to start out. Now I'm painting some of the darker shapes in the face, and I can already see some proportion issues that are going to be coming up in the future. So here I am painting some darker values as well as some lighter values in the face, and that's what's giving it some more of a sense of form. And I'm treating the face and the beard separately, so I'm not getting into the beard yet. And I've also started glazing some red, transparent red glaze over that blue underpainting in the background, and it's creating that purple effect. So here I'm starting to define the beard by painting some of those lighter and darker shapes in it, and I'm also defining the teeth by painting the darker values in the mouth. If you compare this picture with the last one, you can see that I'm making some adjustments and changes and refining some of those shapes so that they're more accurate to what I'm seeing in the photo that I'm working from. Here's some more work into the beard, adding lighter values to define the beard hair and to shape the beard and mustache more accurately, forming the master's smile. So I've added glazes of blue and red to the background here to build those colors and values into what I want them to be. Building layers of transparent color with glazes is called indirect painting or indirect color. And when doing this, you have to envision what color you want it to be and then build layer by layer towards that end color. It's a neat way to paint. A lot has been done here. I refined the shape of the hand and painted some lighter and darker shapes of value to create the form of the hand. I refined the shapes of value in the left eye, the master's right eye. I refined some of the value shapes in his mouth, and I painted some mid-value shapes to build his shirt form. After all that completely dried, I painted a thin glaze of orange over the face and hand. So here I've started defining his turban and adjusting the shape of that dark triangle just above his forehead. That dark triangle was very crucial to getting the correct proportions of the forehead and to getting the correct shape of the turban. I also defined his shirt a little more, and it looks like I also put a thin glaze of orange over everything. So this photo isn't so good, but I can see that I was building more layers of blue and red glaze into the background, as well as glazing more yellowish orange over the figure. I wanted to create this kind of a glowing effect, and so these orangish glazes were part of trying to achieve that. So it looks like I feel pretty confident in the drawing of the underpainting now, and I'm focusing more on building the color here. I wanted to try to capture how I see the master as he's giving one of his spiritual talks, and many times when I'm in the crowd I see subtle colors radiating around his form, around his turban, and around him in general. It may be just the bright lights on his white clothes producing these effects, or it could be divine energy, I don't know. But as an artist, I wanted to try to capture this effect in paint. So you can see the start of me glazing those colors around his form here. So each time you paint a layer of glaze, it darkens the values that that color went over. So then the lighter values will need to be restated back to their original lightness. Sometimes you actually paint the values lighter than you actually want them to be because you know that you're going to be putting glazes of color over them and they'll be made darker by that process. Indirect painting is really cool. It's kind of like chess, where you are planning a bunch of moves down the line as you're doing the move that you're engaged with at the moment. Here it looks like I deepened those glazes of orange and the flesh tones, and then when that dried, I repainted the lightest values in the face, hand, and shirt with pure white. So here I glazed more colors into the face and hand to darken them and to make them less orange. I probably glazed some thin layers of blues and greens and reds into the face and hand, and that brought a more realistic flesh tone. Then I painted the light value hairs in the beard, as well as refining the shape of the turban and painting the lightest values in it to create those wraps of the turban as the cloth is winding around the head. So this is a cool point in the painting. This is where I've been building up the layers of glazed colors, thin layers of color, one over the next, and now the colors are just starting to reach the brilliance that I'm looking for. I restated the light values in the background and built up many layers of colors in the face and the hand and around the form of the master. And then as those colors got to the brilliance that I wanted them to be and dried, after they dried, I repainted the brightest values in the shirt and turban with pure white. This is the stage in the painting where I can start to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Check out my episode 2 of Happy Painting to hear my tunnel analogy. What I mean is I can just start seeing how the painting is going to look when it's done. And that is a really fun part in the journey, in the painting journey, to get to for me. So now I've basically lightened the entire figure. I glazed white over the whole turban and shirt. I've painted highlights on the face and hand, and I've painted the lightest whiskers in the beard. I've also darkened the background with a turquoise glaze, and I've painted a yellow glaze over the highlights in the background, bringing a warmer greenish feel to it. At this point I felt like I might actually be finished. I took this picture and I posted it on my Facebook account, but as I sat with it in my studio I started to feel like the background and the foreground were just too different. So I wanted to harmonize the background and the foreground, so I glazed a rich Indian yellow over the whole background. So the blue of the background plus Indian yellow equals, you guessed it, green. So I was really digging this green background for a while. That is, until I got a message from someone saying that they saw the painting on Facebook and they really wanted to buy it. I spoke with them and sent them this picture of it after I had made these changes, and they said that they really liked it better when it was blue. A lot of artists probably feel like, this is my art, this is my creation, so if you want to change, well, that's tough cookies, but that's not really how I feel. I've spent a long time painting murals and portraits for clients, and I really enjoy being able to create a painting that is just how the client wants it. I mean, after all, it's going to be in their house, so they should feel such love every time that they look at it. And so I told this person that I would change the background back to blue. So here we are, and I've been painting some blue glazes over the green background, and this is a delicate process because I don't want to completely just cover up the background because I still want to see the elements that I have back there, but most of all, I don't want to lose the ethereal fade of those lighting effects around the turban and around the form of the master. Here I'm painting the lighter values in the background and giving the face some extra touch-ups with some lighter values on the cheeks and forehead. It may look like I've added some warmth to the turban and shirt, but I think it's just the lighting in my photos that's showing a change. This warmth is actually more realistic to how the painting really looks. And here's how the final painting turned out. But don't hold me to this because we'll see what the buyer says. Anyway, I added some white glaze on the turban and shirt and the highlights in the background. And then I glazed some turquoise and yellow back there too. Overall, I definitely believe that the painting was greatly improved by the changes that the client requested. Always trust the muse. That is what I say. If I hadn't made that background green, then the buyer wouldn't have asked me to change it back to blue, and then I wouldn't have gotten back into it and tightened up those elements in the background, which, seeing it now, I definitely believe it looks much better now that I made those corrections. It feels like a complete painting to me now. Well, the artist cannot live his life, so afraid of what might happen, because, oh, So here's where I sign the painting. SCH, that's my signature. Pronounce it shh. Thank you so much for being with me in this video, and I wish you all a happy painting.
Happy, 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 happy painting.